How's it going, everybody? My name is Casey Liddell. This is my 2014 Ram 3500 sneaker tow truck, and today we're going to make it better. So I bought this truck with a lot of modifications already done to it, and there's a couple I don't really like. The first of which is the fact that it has an aftermarket exhaust along with a bigger turbo and a tuner that's trying to take advantage of that bigger turbo and aftermarket exhaust. Unfortunately, it still has the stock and restrictive air intake on it, which is preventing that tuner from fully taking advantage of the turbo and the bigger exhaust. So today we're going to solve that by installing this Banks Ram air intake. Movie magic. Now this is the modification I get asked about the most, and ironically it's the one that bothers me the most. This is an Edge digital gauge screen that's suction cupped to my windshield, and I hate that. I want a clean dash view, clean view out the windshield. This little thing right here being on the dash bothers me, but it's kind of necessary for mounting the camera for, you know, the whole like me and you YouTube thing. So I don't like that, but it has to be there. This, on the other hand, does not have to be there. There's better ways this could be done. Look, it's got the cord just sticking out of the trim molding over there, and then suction cup to the corner of the windshield. I don't like that, so we're going to solve that too. And of course we're going to solve that with the Banks iDash monitor installed in the Banks pillar mod that's going to fit right here and put the gauge in the pillar where it makes way more sense than being suction cupped to my windshield. And since the Banks iDash will run the Banks Peddle Monster, we're going to go ahead and install one of those as well. And when it's all said and done, we're going to hook a trailer to the back, take this thing out for a test drive on one of the local hills that I go up all the time, and see what the difference is. Alright, first and most important step is to get this thing off the dash. We'll just drop it down there for now. Then we can take a trim tool and pop this little cap out. It's got a little keeper you pull, it comes right out. Then this dash pillar just slides right over the top. Got to kind of fit it into the molding on this side and then down into the dash clip there. But it will then screw into that same hole right there with a longer bolt that Banks includes in the kit. And it fits over your existing pillar, so there's no need to cut this out or do anything to that. You want to take it all out, just pop that off, put your plug back in, and everything is right back to factory, which is really nice. Alright, so now we got to get like up close and personal here because there's no room in here. But we're going to take off this trim panel here, knock this one here back a little bit so we have room to run our new wire. The old wire was just tucked behind this right here, nice and simple, so I was able to pull it right out. But it's super easy with a trim tool to get in here, run it up and down, and this piece just comes right out. This bottom one here is actually going to come back, and if you pry out just a little bit, it helps pop it out of those. So now that one's out of the way, and we can run our wire down here, much more out of the way and much more nicer than the other one was. Yes, and much more nicer is how we do it. So we're going to start by just laying this back in here and running this up top, because this is what's going to plug into the back side of the iDash gauge up there. So we're just going to run it up here, out of the way, with plenty of slack for now until we go to get everything hooked up. So now we're going to run the Peddle Monster wire up in the same spot. And while we do, let's clear a few things up. Did Banks send me this stuff for free? Yes. Are they paying me to make this video? No, I'm not nearly that cool yet. Actually, when they sent this to me, there wasn't even a stipulation of I had to even make a video about it or say anything about it. They just got tired of seeing that Edge thing right there up front in all my videos and sent this to me to replace it with, so that was nice. But let's be real, if I had to choose the parts I was going to be putting on my truck off of anything on the market and pay for them out of pocket like most everybody else does, it would be Banks anyways, so take that for what it's worth. Okay, now that we have the wires ran up here, we get our pillar and plug in some wires. They only go on one side, so it's pretty hard to screw up even if you're me, as I'm totally screwing up. Oh, I got it backwards. There we go. Okay, now we can, I think these wires will just tuck right here. This molding will have to go over, And this piece goes in there. And we just pull the molding back over. That trim tool I have would make this very easy, but I prefer to struggle. Okay. That fits in there nice, so where did I put that screw? Update. I found the screw, and now I'm screwing it in with this little short screwdriver until I get it far enough that this long one will fit in there without hitting the steering wheel. And I will fast forward to this part because it's literally going to take me like 5 minutes to screw in a screw. Alright, so the pillar mount is installed. You can see it fits right in there, just slips over your existing pillar, so I still have my grab handle. And they come in this tan color. My truck is already really close to that color, so I'll just leave that for now, and we will run some more wires down here and start hooking stuff up underneath. Alright, now it is time to show you the part that I'm not going to show you, because there is no way you and me are going to fit under there and either one of us be able to see anything. So this is the Peddle Monster module itself. It has two identical plugs on it, except for one is male and one is female. And how this works is you unplug the plug off the top of your throttle pedal, plug this in, then take that plug and plug it right back into the other one. Now your throttle pedal signal is running through the Peddle Monster and then continues up to your engine computer to control the throttle. And then that wire that we ran down from the iDash just plugs into the back side of it here to send the signal to the iDash on what's going on. Make sense? Makes sense. Let's do it. Alright, thanks to the miracles of editing, we got all that installed in there. 5 million zip ties, hold everything up out of the way. Luckily, this stuff comes with a lot of zip ties, so now we can just slide this back in. However it goes. Come on. Yeah, like that. Am I right? Yeah, there we go. And look at that. No wires, no suction cups, no nothing. It's just like a factory, dirty truck. Perfect. Alright, so now it is time to pull this old intake out, bolt the new one in, and then take it on a test drive that will definitely include a lunch stop. Alright, pretty easy install. Took about an hour and a half start to finish. Probably could have done it quicker if I wasn't messing with, the film and stuff. But I'm going to let the truck warm up, go wash my hands up, and then we're going to get lunch and a test drive. Alright, we are headed out for our test drive, and whoa. I don't know if that's the intake difference or the Peddle Monster, but okay. The Peddle Monster is exactly what it says it is, so I should probably explain to you what the Peddle Monster is. Every vehicle, wow, this is a whole different truck. Every vehicle, all of them, the one you're driving anytime, if it has an electronically controlled throttle, the manufacturers have set, not a delay, but a mushiness into the beginning of the pedal, so that when you hit the pedal, the vehicle takes off smoothly and isn't jerky and fast. It kind of takes some of the driver control away, where the Peddle Monster puts all that back, where what you tell the throttle to do is what it does. There's no computer delayed or computer softening of that throttle response. And that's done by the manufacturers to make cars just a lot smoother to drive and drive a lot nicer. It's a big drivability thing, but if you want the control of your pedal, the Peddle Monster puts all that back in there. There's a couple of other products that do that as well. The Peddle Monster, also the big thing, if it ever fails and anything goes wrong with it, it fails back to a stock throttle pedal, so it doesn't leave you with no throttle, I guess if like the whole unit completely melted all the wires down and everything, you would have no throttle, but in that case you would just unplug it and plug your throttle back in. So let's take off again. Take that easy out of here. Okay, throttle response on this truck is night and day difference. So it does not add any horsepower, like none at all. It adds, it adds throttle response. So it doesn't give you more horsepower, it just gives you all of the horsepower that you have without the computer or the vehicle holding some of that back from you. And yeah, like, okay, even like a rolling throttle is like completely different. Alright, so we're gonna go up here and get some lunch at the only restaurant in town, which is just outside the only store in town. And then there's a hill over here, we're gonna go take a pull up. And keep in mind, right now, all this like big difference I'm noticing in the throttle, I have the trailer hooked to the back with the wheelies on it. So the trailer's a little over 3,000, wheelies 3,500-ish, 6,500 pounds. This truck it's very heavy for what it is. It's with all the hydraulics for the wheel lift under the back and the frame reinforcement and everything else, it weighs dead on 10,000. A little more than that now that I have the rooftop tent and stuff on here. So we're probably a gross weight of about 16,500 pounds right now. And we'll go climb this hill out here and watch our gauges. And what I want to see is a difference in the intake air temperature. And when we get climbing up that hill, I will let you know why. That is such an important thing to watch when it comes to, when it comes to vehicle performance. So let's go get some lunch. All right, we stopped here at town. I was going to try to get a burger, but they just got a new food trailer and they're getting it set up. So they're down for the afternoon. So I just got a Monster to go with my Peddle Monster, and let's go climb that hill. Alright, we're coming up to our hill now. It's nothing crazy long or steep, it's just a good steady pull, and it's got a few turns coming out of it, so I wanted to see how this Peddle Monster does getting back on the throttle out of turns on a hill, and what things like my intake air temperature does with that new air intake on it. So with the iDash, you can actually put the Peddle Monster display on the screen, and on the left you can see there is the percentage of throttle that the truck's computer is wanting to let me have, and on the right is how much the Peddle Monster is letting me have. There's a whole bunch of different settings. I got it kind of in a mild one right now, but if I turn it up into like track mode or something like that, that bank setting over there is way higher. You can see it makes the pedal a whole lot more aggressive than what the truck's computer is trying to let it do. Or you can have the gauges displayed. You can have, I think, up to 8 on the screen at the time. There's like 100 different ones you can choose from, and you can configure them however you want. Have 2, 4, 6, 8, any of that combination in between. Or you can get super crazy and have some gauges and the Peddle Monster at the same time. And then you can see again like how much difference the Banks kit is giving me in throttle response compared to what the truck wants to let me do, and I don't even have it turn anywhere near all the way up. Super cool setup. So we're in the middle of our hill, letting out a little for a turn and then get back in it. And it picks up a whole lot quicker than it used to because it actually has the power when I asked for it. Funny how that works. Okay, we're up on top, back on the flats, and just a whole different truck coming up that hill. The throttle response, not only the off the line taking off, but the rolling back into the throttle after coming out of the turns, completely different truck. Like I said, it's not any more horsepower from the Peddle Monster, it's just it gives you the horsepower that the truck actually has when you ask for it. Major difference. And on like intake air temperatures, I think I saw like 20, 30 degrees cooler than I usually see coming up that hill on the same kind of outside temperature day. And that makes a big difference because a colder air is a denser air, which means you have more oxygen in the same cubic foot volume of air going into the engine. And the more oxygen and dense air you have going in, the better fuel burn you have, which is a cleaner burn, a more efficient burn, and a more powerful burn. So it's kind of like a win-win-win all the way around with that new air intake on there. And couple that with the Peddle Monster, and I think I'm going to like this truck a whole lot more now. Alright, well there you have it. A couple pretty quick and easy modifications made a massive difference to the performance and the way that truck drives. Whole different deal now. I'm real happy with it. So I'm not going to get into all the technical details of all that stuff. If you go to bankspower.com, they've got everything you could want to know about all that stuff. And if you check out their YouTube channel, I'll put a link down below. They've got just a wealth of information on engine performance of all different kinds of engines, and they do some pretty cool projects on there too. So for now, I think since I drove all the way out here, might as well unload the Monster Jeep and go have a little fun.